money laundering, another important topic which is not covered in your skills level as well. So if I take skills level, as I said earlier also, 70 to 75% of your advanced audit and assurance contains, which is come from skills level. So external audit, the major portions that we are studying here, which already studied under skills level as well. Apart from that, there are few topics which is not covered in the skills level, like other assignments and money laundering, group audit kind of things. So today we're going to discuss about money laundering. So money laundering is a major problem that every country and even every organizations nowadays they are facing. Because if I take this money laundering concept, you all know how the legal money and illegal money is differentiated, right? So we said black money, right? So illegal money means when a person is conceal the source of his or her income from the government. So from the legal way, if I getting a salary, if I transfer to a bank account and through that if I spend and if I compute income tax and if I pay the tax, that is what called legal money. But if I take the lecture fee, which is not transferred to the bank, and if I take in the form of hot cash, and I'm not recording any income tax or income, I'm not paying any income tax or whatever, if I conceal that income to Inland Revenue Department or tax department, that is what called black money. So in India, Sri Lanka, even all these developing nations, the tax system is not much aware among the public. Why we pay tax? What is the purpose of tax? All these things are not aware much, and the tax system is more complex. Comparing with developed countries, here the tax payments are the lower rates only, right? So we are not paying much tax, maximum 10 to 12%, 15% maximum, right? But if you take developed countries, 45%, up to 45% they charge tax. So still we feel difficult to pay that amount of tax. Why? Because of the unawareness of the tax system and the tax scheme and the tax law. So why this money laundering concept comes to the organization? When you didn't pay tax, or when you have illegal money, or you conceal the source of money, conceal the source of income, then obviously you need to wash that money, or you need to convert that money into legal money. So when you have an illegal money, right, we can say illegal money, there is a mechanism you need to follow to wash this money, right? So once you convert it into legal money, you can use according to your wish. And the process of washing or the process of converting this is known as money laundering process. That process is known as money laundering process. If I say money laundering is illegal. That first of all you should understand. So as an auditor, why we teach money laundering to you all? Why we need to study money laundering? The main reason is organizations are the format that all the parties used to convert or to wash black money into white money, illegal money into legal money. So always that process taken place. So as auditors, we should be more aware when we work in an organization whether there is any money laundering risk arised or not, right? That's why we are discussing money laundering in this topic. So actually, if I take advanced audit and assurance money laundering topic, it deals with the offenses. We're going to discuss about the offenses and also accountant's responsibilities. In terms of money laundering, what is accountant's responsibility? And in terms of money laundering, the ethical guidance, right? Ethical guidance means I can say like this: money laundering is legal activity or illegal activity. It's simple. It's an illegal activity. It is not accepted by the legal system. It is not accepted by the government. It is not accepted by the society also. Why? Because the well-being to the society is taken and hide by these people. They are not giving that well-being or the welfare to the society, because once you pay tax, Once you pay tax, that converted to society's well-being, right? But if you are not paying that, if you keep black money, if you do money laundering without paying that well-being, it is automatically converted into legal money. So that is the risk. So it's an illegal activity. No one is accepted. But there is an ethical dilemma as well. When we discussed ethics, code of ethics we studied. Code of ethics. So under this code of ethics, right, there are few principles we discussed, such as integrity, such as objectivity, professional competency and due care, professional behavior, and confidentiality. So if I take this confidentiality principle, it says if you are an auditor, while you are working as auditor, you should not disclose any confidential information to third party. While you are working as an auditor, you should not disclose any confidential information that you obtain from the workplace. So after taking a client permission, authorization, then only you can disclose. So that is a general dilemma, right? But when you work as an auditor and if you find out that particular client, particular customer is doing money laundering, that particular client is doing what? Money laundering. When that particular client is doing money laundering, what you should do? Are you thinking like this? Confidentiality is a principle. I should not disclose confidential information. So if I disclose this matter, it is unethical. Is it like that? No. Try to understand International Ethical Standard Board. It speaks about the disclosure of confidential information as well. There are several situations exempted and you can disclose confidential information. One is if it is required by law, right? Two is it is permitted by law, and three is to protect public interest. So due to these situations, due to these reasons, we can disclose. So simply the ethical guidance speaks, even if there is a confidential information need to be protected, but still auditor can disclose if there is any money laundering thing. And it's very important, auditor should disclose, not can, auditor should disclose. Failure to disclose this type of money laundering illegal activity is also treated as a violence, crime. And the auditor is also answerable. He is also part of that crime. Therefore, these are the three attempts that we're going to discuss. One is the offenses, two is the accountant's responsibilities, three is the ethical guidelines. All these comes under the money laundering concept, right? So this is what we're going to discuss in today's session. And what is exactly mean by the term money laundering? What is exactly mean by the term money laundering, right? What it is? Exactly, the money laundering is a process to convert, illegal money to legal money. Money laundering is a process to convert illegal money to legal money. Illegal money means that money which is you cannot use. Legal money is you can use freely. So this process, converting process, is known as money laundering. Converting process is known as money laundering, right? So that is what called money laundering, and I'll give you some examples how organizations or people do this money laundering. So first of all, we need to understand the definition. So money laundering is the process. Money laundering is the process by which the criminals, because it's an illegal activity, right? Therefore, money laundering is a process by which criminals attempt to conceal the true origin and ownership of the proceeds generated by illegal means, allowing them to maintain control over the proceeds and ultimately providing a legitimate cover for their sources of income. See, when I do an illegal activity like terrorist activity or like a drug dealing or smuggling, right, whatever I do, right, all those illegal activities, whatever the money I received, those money is known as black money, illegal money. Publicly I can't use those money. So now I'm trying to find out the process to convert this illegal money into legal money. I'm trying to find out the process to convert this illegal money into legal money. How I can do that? That process itself known as money laundering. And try to understand money laundering is done by organizations most of the time. There are different types of organizations. These organizations do money laundering. So money laundering is a process who do that money laundering organizations. So when it comes to auditor audit financial statements, and auditor financial statements when they audit while they working in organization, if they find the organization is doing money laundering, then it's a legal responsibility to auditor to disclose that matter. Right. Now, I'll tell you how this money laundering works. Now, I'll tell you how this particular money laundering works. It's like this. See, if I take the money laundering process, I said organizations are the intermediaries in this money laundering. Organizations are the intermediaries of this money laundering, right? See here, if I take a person, right? A person called A. Let's take a person called A. This person is involved in terrorist activity. This person involved in terrorist activity. Now tell me, the terrorist activity is legal or illegal? It is illegal. So doing a terrorism or terrorist involvement is an illegal activity. Therefore, can you able to disclose this to a third party like government? You can't disclose because you involved in a terrorist activity which is not acceptable, which is illegal. Now you are not in a position to disclose this to a third party called government. You can't disclose. Then what you try to do, because you can't disclose if it's to the inland revenue or else income tax department, if tax department come and ask from where you take this money, you can't say that I did terrorist activity and I earned this money. You can't tell. So what A is planning to do is conceal this one. This is what called concealment. He is trying to conceal. When he conceal this from the authorities, this is what we call illegal money. This is what we call illegal money. When you are trying to conceal, that is what we call illegal money. That is what we call illegal money. See here, A conceal this money. Now it's an illegal money. Let's take 50 million. 50 million. Can A publicly utilize this money? Can't. Can A publicly utilize this money? Can't. Therefore, now A is searching a way to wash this money, convert this money into legal form, right? So, how they can wash that money? In other words, I can say process, money laundering process. Money laundering process. How we can do? Simple. That is organization. How we can do that? Organization. Make it simple. I told you 50 million amount, 50 million money earned through terrorist activity, which is illegal forms, and it is concealed by A. Now A break this money into small amounts, and there are systems called, I don't know whether you heard about this, Hawala system. So they are sending money. Illegal transactions are happening through Hawala only, right? In Tamil, they call it as Undial. Okay. So what this person is doing is he is breaking this 50 million into small amounts and sending through Hawala to different countries. And he started an NGO, right? Let's say trust in India. He start a trust. Trust is an organization. Then the people who receive this money, they sending all those money in the form of donations. They send all this money in the form of donations. Now you set up an organization. For that organizations, you receive donations from different donors, right? Now you can spend that money freely. You can spend that money freely. Why? Because it is legal money now. It is washed. This is one way of doing money laundering. This is one way of doing money laundering. When we see the people who want to wash their money, right, convert the black money into legal money, they follow this step. They follow this step as well. Another example, another way of doing money laundering is like this. Let's take A. A have some illegal money. Let's take 5 million. Now A is starting a business. Like let's take an education center. Education center. So in this education center, they offer 5 different courses and they do advertisements and all. In each class, for each course, only 5 students they have. But the class capacity is 100 students. Class capacity is 100 students. What A did was he put his money and he generate invoice saying there are full pack classes, 100 students. So he have documents and his sales increase. He is the only director. His sales increase. Now he washed his money. How he can take in the form of profit? So if we take these examples, mostly when you do businesses like cash businesses, this is possible. Cash businesses, where the serving service stations, right? Those kind of cash based businesses, right? Normally used for money laundering purpose as well. So if I take organizational setup, it is very clear. Organization is a tool used by these people to do money laundering. Organization is a tool used by these people to do money laundering. And another common thing that we find even Sri Lanka, India, all around the world, the people who have black money or else the people who have illegal money, what they do is they keep this particular black money as it is. Okay, then they wait for election. During election, they heavily sponsor or paid for a party. That is what called they support the party, right? Heavily they sponsored for a party using this black money. Once this party form the government, they will get, the people who sponsored, they will get new projects. Through that, they earn the money that they spent. So here, what they used is black money. Here, what they taking is legal money. This is also another way that we can find where people do money laundering and wash their money, right? But most commonly, first two methods used to do money laundering. So it's a common practice. So you should understand that organizations are the format. Organizations are the format and organizations are the tool to do money laundering, right? So therefore, it's our duty to be aware. When we work, right? So auditors, we should be more aware whether this type of money launderings are taken place within the organization or not. From where these type of organizations getting money, capital, all these sort of things, we always be aware and concerned over these matters. If I take this money laundering, normally this money laundering is happening at 3 stages. Money laundering is happening at 3 stages. There are 3 main stages where we can see this money laundering. The first one is placement. What is placement? Where the cash obtained through a criminal activity or illegal activity that placed into a financial system. You place that illegal cash into financial system. Second one is layering. Second one is layering. What do you mean by the term layering? You convert that cash, whatever the things you put into the financial system, it is mixed or traced with the complex transaction. That's why I told in the class there are 5 students, right? But you recorded it as the class is full, 100 students, which means now you complex transaction, you process through the complex transaction. There is a transaction, you are processing through that transaction, so it is difficult to trace, because when auditors come, the source documents are clearly available, right? Invoices, payment slip, everything is available of the student, right? But in the class only 5 students, as per the records it is 100 students, right? So that is what called layering, making more difficult to trace. And integration. Integration means profit. You are taking as in that organization, once you lay it, but you are doing periodically, you are taking profit. That profit is a legal money, clean money, washed money, white money, right? So all these process, first you do placement, second you do layering, and the third one is integration. Within the system you are taking the money as legal means. This money is legal. This money is legal, and you can utilize this money for your own needs and the work, right? So these are the 3 stages of money laundering. And why money laundering offenses? Why what are the offenses included in the money laundering? As I said, money laundering is illegal. Money laundering is a criminal activity, right? Money laundering is an illegal activity and money laundering is a criminal activity. Why we say that money laundering is a criminal activity? We need to understand certain things. The first thing is acquiring, possession, or use of criminal property. Because if you do terrorist activity, is it acceptable? By doing the terrorist activity, if you are taking that money, it's a criminal property. It's an offense. Concealing the transaction or removing it from the country. So let's take Hawala systems. Normally, what they do, they are removing the money from the country to another country. And concealing, when you do this kind of terrorist activity, and if you conceal it, that is also an offense, because when you conceal from the tax department and the government, it is not acceptable. Right? And also another point when it comes to this money laundering, if you are keeping someone else's money, let's take a person is doing a money laundering illegal activity, he asked to keep his particular property with you, right? So if you are keeping like that, that is also offense only. So you can't say it is not mine, it is someone's else. If you keep with you, you also part of it, right? And failure to report knowledge of money laundering. Here only auditor's responsibility comes. Because when you identified a particular organization is doing money laundering, and if you fails to report such activity to respective authority, when you identified there is a money laundering illegal activity, and if you fails to report such thing to a respective authority, that is also treated as an offense. That is also treated as an offense. Finally, tipping off. See, while you are working, you find out yes, there is a illegal source of money that company is getting, and capital invested is used by an illegal money, and they are doing some kind of a money laundering process as well. So if you are an auditor, it's your duty to disclose this matter to respective authorities. But what you are doing is, instead of informing to respective authority, you are tipping off. Tip means you call the respective bodies who did this work, and you are informing them, yes, there is a problem, we identified like this, do necessary activities and actions to protect yourself from this. Likewise, tipping off is also treated as an offense. So when I take money laundering, even in your case study in the final exams, all these problems can be tested, right? So when you identify these issues, they may not telling that it's a money laundering, they might tell one of these offenses, because all these offenses are part of money laundering, right? So you need to understand that all these offenses given here, it is treated as illegal criminal activity as per money laundering, right?